6 a.m. you get up, you get born in the morning. 9 to 5 look alive and your mind is still snoring. Because you work real hard to get back for a living. But there's no proof. It's not you, it's untrue, it's unforgiving. Little darling, don't you know? Shower seasons come and go. They can go. It's just work, it's just work, it's just work. Unless it's love. It's just work, it's just work, it's just work. Unless it's love. It's midnight, you're uptight, cause your boss had you slaving. 1:15, then you dream about a job you're still hating. Because you work real hard for a job that don't value you. Your boss is a jerk. If he knew the real you, he would fire you. Little darling, don't you know? You gotta know. Shower seasons come and go. They gotta go. It's just work, it's just work, it's just work. Unless it's love. Sing it to me now. It's just work, it's just work, it's just work. Unless it's love. Yeah.
Dropbox Business makes your collaborations simple because we still need to work together, even.
Yeah! Look up! We got to walk to the hilltop! Now stop with Jill Scott! No need for a disc jock! Cause it's hot! So, come! Follow me! Egotistical banger, the lyrical mind slayer, and never be stopped without the street stars player. Surveyor, slayer, recount of the rules, the mental mechanics, toys, nuts, and screws. The cards in my mind spin around like clockwork, enabling I with the skills to sharp earth. With the energy I'm releasing, cause I am the four seasons. So long like spring and bring my stand, swell and get the season. So here, I'm pleased, I really dig your company. Your style, your smile, your peace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see what a queen is supposed to be. Baby, I feel free. Come on and go with me. Let's take a long walk, go around the park after dark, and find a spot for us to spark conversation, no relation, stimulation, share our situation, passion, education, relaxation, innovation. Maybe we can talk about what's gonna happen tonight. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You better talk the straight now with the super dolphins. We wrote this track so you can realize what's happening in here before your very eyes. Tonight, tomorrow, it's always gonna happen. If you haven't been entering MC rapping, or one of this occurs in the top class screen, somebody trying to take them off. And just go, hey. Your background, it ain't speaking clean shit. Sometimes we all got to swim upstream. You and no tank, we all a sinner. But put your good foot down and make yourself a winner. Yeah. I respect that. Yeah. You're so fat. Yeah. You're all that. Yeah. Plus supreme. But then you're humble. I don't know what you're feeling. Yeah, I can give everything that you bring. This day, go I walk. Go around the park after dark. I find a spot for us to spark conversation, no relation, stimulation, share our situation, education, relaxation, innovation. Maybe we can talk about what's gonna happen tonight. What? Yeah. What? With that, na na. On the pista, let's breathe in the beat, marijuana. Slow down now, slow down now, slow down now, slow down now, down now, down now. Oh, yeah, I'm pleased, 'cause I really dig your company, your style, your smile, and your peace mentality. Lord have mercy on me, 'cause I was blind, now I can see what a queen is supposed to be now. What a queen is supposed to be. So come on and go with me. Come on and flow with me. Come on and go. Come on and go. Let's take a long walk. Yeah. Let's take a long walk. Let's take a long walk. Let's take a long walk.
Each
enthusiasts, from the front to the back now. Where have you been hiding? All enthusiasts, from the front to the back now. Where have you been hiding? To be vibing. Yes, y'all. Rain hell up everywhere, but no, I won't be hiding. We coming to you live and directly, inspired by a tropical quest now. Inside the confines of my mind, I see a pattern of hearing, a lyrical rhyme. See the music is meant to move and groove your soul and make you get up, get down, baby, lose control. Inside I find myself, go weary, go weary, go weary. Enthusiasts, from the back to the front now. Where have you been hiding? All enthusiasts, pick it up, bro. Where have you been hiding? All enthusiasts, from the back to the front, y'all. Where have you been hiding? To be vibing. Rain hell up everywhere, but no, I won't be hiding. Hey, Mr. Music, you sure sound good to me now. Come on and I can't refuse it, cause what a be gotta be now. Come on, do you feel like dancing? Yes. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So do you feel like dancing? Yeah. Come on, dance with me now. Yeah, yeah. What? Go on. Duck leg. Yeah. Fingers up, come on. Yeah. Yeah. Now stop. We rock. So we coming to you now. La red with fire. Drop a breakdown. Stop the covers over my mind. I feel bad, I feel great. I lyrical, I feel the music is meant to move and groove your soul to make you get down. Baby, what's your tone? Start up by myself. Go weird. Go weird. Go weird. Cocoa Town, sweet town, sweet. Cocoa Town, sweet town, sweet. Cocoa Town. The game that
The hot tip. This life ain't no breeze. And even a shelter may not be what you need. Cause when you deal with things badly, it becomes your disease. So be sure to do right, before karma believes. Because I said truth only sell their soul. Doing wrong only leads you to the future. Yes, that's what you will know. You reap what you sow. Oh, you reap what you sow. Oh, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. Bring me down now. Consume you. No, you don't need to react. Just stand firm in what you do. And don't you fuel an attack. Cause when you're doing the right thing, only good will come back. You be true to God feelings, and there'll be nothing out there. Because I said, turns only sell their soul. Doing wrong only leads you to the tell yourself that you will know. You reap what you sow. Oh, you reap what you sow. Oh, you reap what you sow. I say, you reap what you sow. Take me down now. Shut it down. Now bring it back. Bring Stay on the yeah, reap what you sow. Say yes, I know, yeah, reap what you sow. Stay on the yeah, reap what you sow. I know, yeah, reap what you sow. Stay on the yeah, reap what you sow. Say yes, I know, yeah, reap what you sow.
I love shopping online for my
Polynesian flavor, come on, come on. A little Polynesian flavor, yeah, 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 yeah. Coeci super, locukumia disciplina. Polynesian flavor, come on, come on. A little Polynesian flavor, yeah, 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 yeah. Polynesian flavor, come on, come on. A little Polynesian flavor, yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, my peace, everybody, man. Thanks for hanging around. We got Sunray, aka I'm a Dad Smoke Side up in here, just doing some impromptu stream. Like, just want to get some vibes going. Didn't really have any idea, but or what I would come up with. You guys are more than welcome to come through, share your thoughts. If you have any, have your word heard. But what I thought I might do is until somebody comes up if they want to. It just came to my mind. So, I mean, you know what I'm about, right? Like, I listen to B1 over there on your side. I think Australia has a black past. Not much has changed, you know, and we face similar issues worldwide. So, my background is born in Australia, but heritage from Fiji, and like I've been to the UK. Obviously, as Australia is a colony of there, the Indigenous here get treated very, very poorly to this day. A lot of people, don't really realize these facts, and maybe if you're coming from overseas perspective, even from here, you see a lot of these people, and they are very light skinned. They might even pass as white to some people, and that might give them off-putting feeling coming from overseas, thinking, "Oh, these people, who are they talking about black rights and things?" But the reason for that, I mean, if you've seen a movie called Rabbit Proof Fence, it gives a good implication of that. There's been tremendous more actions to get it. I mean, to have this occurrence, but they basically try to obliterate, the Aboriginal nation. And so what they did up until it was from the 1900s till the 1940s, maybe even just after World War II, could have been up to the 60s. They had a stolen generation. So basically, any child that was considered half caste. So if there was a white father, or that would be mostly the case, because if a black man was to have relations with a white woman, they would kill him. Now, so just say that was the case, the half-caste child would now, by the police, by law, they had these people called protectors. So basically one single man to look after a whole community of people, which were designated as kind of like childish, savage, needed to be educated, didn't have any culture. They just tried to make them white, but they didn't give them any opportunity pretty much. But so what I was getting at was they took the children away, and even in the Rabbit Proof Fence, it says there, the protector said, "I'm often asked by these people, if I have a child by an Aboriginal lady, how white or dark would the child be?" And they basically showed they have a plan of 3 generations. So if there was one first inkling, half caste, and if they were to integrate again with white, and then integrate again with white, they said there was a half caste, a quadrant, and an octet or something. A quad, and then an octo, and then by the octo, it's completely gone. They've eradicated. So it's quite disgusting, the situation that's over here. It happens to this day. These people have got absolutely. And another disgusting fact is there's this eye disease. It's it's like so simple to fix, right? Every developed nation around this world. So this developed nation, not first world countries, like, they've obviously got rid of this problem, but developed nations have eradicated this problem, but it continues to persist in the reservations in mainland, in Australia, where these Aboriginal communities are. It's disgusting. So there's a disease in this land where they don't care. They don't want to fix it up. It's terrible. They act like they do, but there's no, it's nothing. So I brought up this gentleman here, Gary Foley. He's obviously Indigenous activist. It says here, it's a writer. Gary Edward Foley is an Aboriginal Gulbanga, Gumbanga. Sorry about my pronunciation. Gumbanga activist, academic, writer, and actor who eschews Australian nationality. He is best known for his role in establishing the Australian Tent Embassy in Canberra in 1972, for establishing the Aboriginal Legal Service in Redfern in the 1970s. So the Tent Embassy, if nobody is aware, in 1972, it still exists to this day. It is basically it's an embassy made up of like a very basic tent kind of tarpaulin structure for the Aboriginals right outside the lawn of our Parliament House in Canberra. So it'd be like if somebody were to set up a teepee or an Indigenous tent outside the White House and claim Native American rights for people in America. So, and in Redfern, that's basically Sydney City, Central City, but similar situation to inner city projects in America. They've got government housing very close to the city, but very poverty-stricken area. So, there's some information for people out there that, if they want to get to know, they can get to know. Yeah, if anybody does have anything to say, or you guys are busy or just chilling out, wanting to talk, you're more than welcome to hit the link if it's in there, or just mention. I'll try and look up this thing here. Could be a trachoma. Yeah, I think that's one of these. There we go. Why? Can you guys can you see that? No, I'm not sharing the screen. So hang on, I'll come over here. I'm gonna share this one. Share this one. Share that one. Share this one. Share that one. Right. So here, why is trachoma blinding Aboriginal children in Australia eliminated 100 years ago? So the general population, the immigrants, the politicians, the white Anglo society, 100 years ago, 1921, so well before a lot of these civil changes come around, they had found a cure for it. But people are still suffering today, right now. And the thing is, the treatment for this is so cheap and very simple, easy to do. So I'll see what they say here. This article is one in a 3-part series about blinding, deafening, and sometimes deadly conditions in Indigenous Australian children that have little to no impact on their non-Indigenous counterparts. Many people don't know this, but Indigenous Australian children are born with much better eyesight than non-Indigenous Australian. Wow. Okay, so there you go. They start off, yet at the population level, Indigenous people are at the age of 40 have rates of vision loss 3 times than the Indigenous Australians. Rates of blindness are 6 times higher among Indigenous adults. The prevalence of vision problems in Indigenous people is a result of cataracts, diabetic eye disease, and a disease non-Indigenous children don't get, trachoma. In fact, trachoma disappeared from mainstream Australia more than 100 years ago with improved hygiene facilities, water infrastructure, and living conditions. Yet in some areas, 4% of Indigenous children aged from 5 to 9 years old have an active trachoma infection. In the Northern Territory, the rate is 5%, which is considered an endemic level. That is quite disgusting considering this has been eradicated 100 years ago, but you're still getting 5 out of 100 kids suffering from this condition. In one state, and then all over the country, 4%. That's just terrible. What is trachoma? We used to call trachoma sandy blight. The eyes feel gritty as if it's full of sand. It is the world's leading cause of infectious blindness. Trachoma is caused by bacterium, Chlamydia trachomitis, which creates swelling under the inner eyelid leading to scarring. The scars cause the eyelashes to turn inward and scratch the eye, which is intensely painful and made worse by blinking. Eventually, if left untreated, all the scratching from the lashes will result in the cornea, the transparent layer of the front eye going cloudy, and the person having irreversible blindness. Trachoma easily spreads from one child to another through an infected eye or nose secretions. Let's see if it says eliminating. What are you going to do? What are treatments? The World Health Organization developed a safe strategy to eliminate trachoma. This includes surgery to correct the inward eyelashes antibiotics reduce level of infection, promotion of facial cleanliness to stop transmission, and environmental improvements in water and sanitation. In Australia, the antibiotic azithromycin is given every 6 to 12 months to all household members with someone with trachoma or everybody infected in communities. This brings down the level of infection, but without stopping the possibility of transmission, trachoma will bounce back. So they're just not, they're putting a remedy, not like putting a band-aid on it. This is why keeping every child's face clean is so important. The essential and sustainable strategy of maintaining trachoma elimination comes down to having clean faces, which goes with access to safe and functional bathrooms and washing facilities. Wow, don't you think that's that sounds so simple to do? Okay, obviously these people are in desert areas where there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of dust and sand. They've been living like that for a long time. Like they start off with better eyesight, but all they got to do is just put some facilities there. Just put some infrastructure so there's a bathroom. There's enough bathrooms for the children. There's enough water, But anyway, it's quite disturbing. I'll see if I can find some pictures here. I hope everybody's doing good there too, right? Everybody out there. Oop. I don't know what time you are, where you are at, but you know what I mean. I just started to do it. Here we go. This is terrible. So that's the sort of cloudiness that they're talking about, if you guys can see. So yeah. And you can see this going inward, I guess. The eyelash is coming down. So damn. So obviously the cause of this front layer is trying to protect itself from all this irritation of the eyes, so it just makes it cover. Look at this. Terrible, man. And then children, There was a great man called Fred Hollows. He used to go around fixing up all these, communities there, but he actually passed away. This might be him here. I don't know. Yeah, so his children are doing it, but there's not enough people are following up with it. It's just a sad situation for these people. They were the first people here. Beautiful, brilliant-minded culture, everything, and they're just really treated like animals today. Eh? They say they're not, but they are. This is Fred Hollows. This is the gentleman I'm talking about. So he helped a lot. This fella here. He went around in the, I think 70s, I guess. That's probably him there in the 70s, treating some beautiful baby there, the mother or grandma. So, Sup, Xando, sup, Cosmo. Much peace, Jesse, Jess BU, if you're still out there, much peace. You guys are more than welcome to come up and have your, any say if the thing's still there. But no pressure, nothing. I'll keep going on. If there's any topics you want me to hit up, I'll hit up. I'm just doing some impromptu type speaking. Just want to get it out there. Because, every day I go past, it's just getting... Situations are just it's intense. I got to actually see the buck breaking documentary from Tariq Nasheed yesterday. A little bit of it. I saw half of it. I still got to watch the next half. But that on top of just life in general, and to see just the way things are going. But that really had I don't know if anybody's seen it, but there's a lot about the kind of alphabet community taking over and having their agenda within the Black American society. And even prior to that, this is the LGBT community from centuries ago, and how it has come to, be in what shape it is today. But even on that thought, I had this yesterday, and it was kind of, you know, it made me think because, like, obviously, I'm in my early 30s, and so third decade, so like teenagers, 20s, I was quite oblivious, playing music, hustling, doing this thing, didn't really, mucking around. Now I see, I was still living at home, so now I moved out and realized a bit more what the world is about. Uh, the church, it was very, very, very prevalent back when I was going to school. There was like, you could mention about it, you could say prayers, it was on the TV. It was sometimes a class, people had to attend class for that. And then, let's say in the past decade, it's just been slowly moved out, rubbed out, rubbed out. You can't mention it anyway, you can't put it on TVs without a great big fight from the church. And then with that same time, and then the other thing is, see, with the church, there's been that big history of the conspiracy of homosexuality, plus the child molestation and things like that. Even in Australia, we had a huge case where the head priest of the Catholic Church, so the Archbishop, the straight relation to the Vatican, basically got charged, went to court for. There's many cases that were alleged, but 2 cases got put to trial. One gentleman said this was all in the 80s. One gentleman was able to put testimony forward, but he had to hide his identity. The other one committed suicide because it got too much for him and he had too much stress. But sum it up, the bishop got judged guilty on his first round. So he went to prison. Then he appealed it. He went to the appeals court. They found him guilty. He was still in remand, still in custody. Then he appealed it. He went to the final stage, Australia's Supreme Court, the highest court. That's where he was acquitted, and they let him go. So he spent maybe a year and a half in jail or behind bars. I'm sure he had some very good conditions, like he would have been on his own. He would have had good food and things like that. But yeah, so that is basically the sum of it. So basically, that's the situation that's happened. That's what's the reality. So it made me think that because the church hasn't made such a big half and path, it seems as though to me, and like the amount of power that's there, it's almost the same. Like, you can't say anything about the alphabet, like you couldn't say anything about the church. Like, so to me, I figure they're the same people. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same families, same sort of people, just rebranding themselves. Like, so I mean, I don't know what you guys think about that, but to me, it's kind of, yeah, I reckon that's obvious. It obviously is economic. It's all about money nowadays. It really is. Morals have gone out the window. If you got the money, things can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the economic people don't really care about what you're doing as long as it's involving, money floating around in the economy. They don't mind. They want that to happen. So, it's part and parcel. But I mean, what do you guys think? You got any thoughts? I'll bring up another topic, write a topic if you want in there. Yeah, so I'll go back to this fella here. Where are we? Go here. Share. Right. So, all right. what does Gary Foley see as one of the major achievements of the Australian Freedom Ride? Because the establishment of the Aboriginal Tent Embassy made the entire world aware of the situation of Aboriginal people in Australia in a more focused way than earlier things. So that he's trying to say, obviously, that he's just bringing the focus to the the issues that you guys are facing. It's a pretty shame that it's just coming around within the past 50 years. You know, when industrialization had time to develop itself, these people have created great industry. Okay, so this is his description of the system. In his 2001 article, Black Power in Redfern, 1968 to 1972, Professor Gary Foley described the Aboriginal Tent Embassy as the Black Power movement's greatest coup, while former PM Gough Whitlam acknowledged its role in helping topple 22 years of conservative rule in this country. I don't really think so. That's probably a bit of a not sarcastic, but it's just a comment of like to keep face from Gough Whitlam. He wouldn't want this thing to topple. He's part of it. So it's another one for people out there don't really realize. Over here we've got a lot of different tribes. There was hundreds and hundreds of tribes before the colonizers came. Well, there's probably about up to 200. There is I think it's called a Taylor map. There's a map, I'll try and bring it up maybe. But the Kooris are predominantly the people who are known staying around Sydney, New South Wales area. So let's see what it says there. Koori culture is characterized by a commitment to dreaming, an overall worldview that believes in and values interconnectedness between the land and the community. Koori art and literature continue to be produced in contemporary Australia, often with reference to traditional Indigenous artistic techniques. Let's see if they go. So, see the etymology. Koori comes from the word Guri, meaning man or people in the Indigenous language Awabakai, spoken language of the mid-north coast of New South Wales. On the far north coast of New South Wales, the term may still be Guri or Guri, and pronounced with a hard dirgy, Guri. So the term's documented usage occurred in 1834 in an Australian grammar as Kore, translated to mean man or mankind. See, where I'm from, when I was born in Queensland, Brisbane, they have the Murray. That's more, this is the area I'm talking about. This is New South Wales, this is Queensland, this is South Australia, Northern Territory up here, Western Australia, and Tasmania is down here. Victoria is bottom, just about here. So this is also, the green is highlighting Victoria there. So, yeah, that's easy, bro. Thanks for listening, man. I didn't really know. I just, not really sure what to put forward, but I mean, at least anything's good. If I put something forward and people can have a listen. Let's see. Art, language, birthing rituals. Let's see what the birthing rituals. Historical records show Koori birthing rituals involving song, dance, and ceremonial practices. Gunjitmara Kooris and Southwest Victoria record the ritualistic use of sand heated by fire, both to warm the infant and welcome it to country. Records also exist detailing Koori use the medical techniques such as natural pain management and the teaching of these techniques to European settler women. Wow. So even in the documentary, the dudes say that there's a lot of knowledge given to the colonizer, the people coming intruders, the people coming to land, they found knowledge of the native people, which dramatically helped them, which makes so much sense because they have the knowledge of the environment too, so they know what helps in the like environmental conditions, and also what's around the plants and things that help. Where's the water available? Where's all the things that they need? So historically, birthing trees were essential to Kuri birthing rituals. These were trees used as sites of birth where mothers, families, and communities would congregate to deliver the baby and welcome it to country. Sometimes the placenta would be buried under the birthing tree to symbolize the newborn's connection to country. A Kuri birthing tree in Western Victoria has received status as a significant tree on the Australian Register of the National Trust in recognition of its importance to the Kuri population. Okay, here's another one. So before European colonisation, radiocarbon dating has identified the evidence of indigenous inhabitants in the Kuri region as early as 50 to 45,000 years ago. Ancient Kuri artifacts, including human remains and tools, have been found at Lake Mungo in New South Wales, dated to be between 50 and 46,000 years old. In Western Victoria, structures from ancient Kuri populations have been discovered, including stone-walled fishing traps measuring up to 6 meters in height, 3 kilometers in length. The traps date to approximately 6,600 years old, making them one of the world's oldest known fishing trapping systems. Similarly aged village sites have been found in southeastern Victoria, featuring wooden structures, garden areas, and agricultural wetlands. In New South Wales, small tools used for processing plants and hunting have been discovered to be approximately 10,000 years old. Fish hooks appear to have been widely used across the Kuri coastline as early as 1,000 years ago. These fish hooks appear to originate from outside Australia, possibly from the Torres Strait or Polynesia, indicating a system of regional trade. Right, so this shows the Pacific Island. Obviously, they had great knowledge. These communities got great knowledge of the sea, traveling on the sea, getting fish, and all sorts of things like that.
Did you get charged of it?
Well, hang on a minute.
That was all good. Go on.
All right. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, bro, that's my housemate, man. So yeah, it's a cool fella, South Sudanese fella. Got to get him on here too. His cousin's doing some good work in music. But yeah, just like he's come back for a second. Where was I at? Early contact. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I mean, of course they knew things, man. They're learning they learn so much. Even in that thing, that buck breaking documentary, there's a little section in there talking about in Ghana how the people that first came, the Portuguese, they learned so much about even the cotton trade. The cotton trade was going on tremendously in Africa before the one boomed in America, because people in Africa had the knowledge on how to pick the cotton, weave the cotton, design it, dye it, and make clothes. So, it's intense. People might already know that, but it's just part of this craziness. What are you guys? Yeah, what's been happening over there in the other side of the world? Any craziness going on down there? I haven't been up here. 50. European colonialization and population decline. Here we go. Following this initial contact, Great Britain established a penal colony at Botany Bay in New South Wales. The first settlers of this colony arrived in 1788 aboard the Force Fleet, beginning after colonisation by Australia by Europeans. Over the century following colonisation, there occurred a steep decline in Aboriginal population. Approximations of overall Indigenous population decline range from 80 to 96%. Wow. 96% to 80, decimated, taken out, gone. In the first 80% in the first 20 years of contact. That's like, come on, man. That's genocide, and that's horrific. That's like the Holocaust, bro. Way more. Generally accepted estimates approximate that 2,000 non-Aboriginals, most Europeans, and 20,000 Aboriginals were killed in armed conflict between the two groups. This included the Waterloo Creek Massacre on New South Wales Koori Territory in 1837, during an estimated 200 to 300 Kooris were killed. In the 1830s and 40s, in Western District of Victoria, was recorded as one of the two worst regions for violence. Sexual violence also occurred, particularly towards Koori women and children, sometimes resulting in death or infertility, just like the buck-breaking documentary was showing, again, how perverted these people are, trying to demasculinize men and just perverted their molestation of women and children. You know, it's part of their culture. It's in their mind. They love it. It's like, it's disgusting. But, you know, it is what it is. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back in a minute. Less than a minute. Oh, what up? I think we had a few more visitors and I wasn't talking, but that's okay. Back now. Any ideas you guys want to do? Any interesting topics you want to hear, talk about? I'll put them up. If not, I might think about shutting down for a second. What else we got? 20th century. The Aborigines Protection Board, what I was talking about, this is what was set up here. So Aboriginal, it's not running anymore, but this is when they were considered animals. They needed a protector. Aboriginal Protection Board, also known as Aborigines Protecting Board, Aborigines Welfare Board, Board for the Protection of Aborigines, and similar names, refers to a number of historical Australian state-run institutions with the function of regulating the lives of Aboriginals Australians. It's disgusting. Of New South Wales and Victoria, enabled the segregation of Kooris onto government-run missions and reserves. In the 1910s, so this is not long ago, you know, the board's powers were extended to allow the removal of Koori children from their families for assimilation into non-Indigenous population. Okay, so that was what I was talking about before. When they consider a half-caste child, they take them away from their parent and want them to assimilate into the white population, where they really don't get treated the same, and then, you know, the opportunities aren't there. But just that in itself is fucked. And then their plan is to breed them out and just make it white, so there's no traces of them left. Some Koori children were placed into white families, while others were sent to labour schools such as Cootamundra Domestic Training Home for Aboriginal Girls and Kinchela Aboriginal Boys Training Home, which would have been my initial instinct, which would have been rampant with child molestation in both of these places. This process of segregation and child removal was common throughout Australia and become known as the stolen generations. In 1937, the New South Wales Koori activist William Ferguson founded the Aborigines Progressive Association in Sydney to protest the oppression of the Aboriginal Protection Board. Approximately 1,000 Indigenous Australians attended the organisation's first rally in Sydney on 26th of January 1938, which, not coincidentally, but it is the date given for the celebration of Australia's founding. Some people call it Australia Day. A lot of Indigenous refer to it as Invasion Day. From the 1970s, the policy of segregation and assimilation began to shift. New South Wales adopted the Aboriginal Child Placement Principle in 1987, mandating that an Indigenous family be chosen for the rehoming of Koori children wherever possible. Oh, okay. So in 1987, they started thinking about, maybe they should go with their own culture, not their own family, but their own culture. Even that crazy, where possible. In 1997, the premiers of both New South Wales and Victoria apologised for the historic mistreatment of Indigenous Australians, including an apology for the stolen generation, and affirmed their commitment to reconciliation. Wow, that's great. So how about you? Let's put your children in that situation. You guys go through that for another 3 generations, just to start, and then we'll see how you feel. Yeah? Hey. Incarceration rates, income, educate. Like, you guys should check this page out too yourself. It's very good. Just to give you a bit of a broadening of your, in the sense of what goes on here too. It's disgusting. Incarceration rates. Koori Australians are more likely to be incarcerated in both New South Wales and Victoria. In 2019, Koori adults were 9.3 times more likely to be incarcerated in New South Wales than their non-Koori counterparts. 9.3 times more. Wow. So that means I could commit, if you're an Indigenous person committing a same felony or same criminal act, if I was white, I could commit it 9 times. Aboriginal once, you're going to jail. 9 times I could commit that before I go to jail. If I was, non-Koori. In Victoria, they're 14.5 more times likely. Jeez, man. These statistics are mirrored in youth detention, so it's the same thing for the youth. It's just crazy. The initiatives of the government, what are they doing? The New South Wales and Victoria have both introduced initiatives to address these divergences between Koori and non-Koori individuals. In March 2019, both states established a formal partnership with the Australian federal government and to address the goals of closing the gap initiative. The partnerships also include representatives from Indigenous activists. This just makes me upset, really. But it's what it is out there, and this is what we're dealing with, and it's what we got to go against. So, I mean, here's a picture, 1847. You could look at these people. Look at the dress, man. It's just it's upsetting, man. Very upsetting. That's right, man. All right. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'll probably take a break for a bit. What's the time over in America? I could just check that myself, really. This is the thing. High grades all day. I hope everybody's blowing that good. You know what I mean? You guys are just waking up, man. Come on, it's good time. I should come back in a bit then. I could keep this hanging. Does anybody want to come up and have a bit of a chat, have the word, get something out? Or if you ain't got time, it's cool. But if so, I might leave this running and see if I can have a marathon stream. It wasn't the plan, but Central Time, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. for Cosmo, 8 a.m. for Zen. That's cool. You guys got school and work today, probably. Oh, no, you got it locked down anyway, so you do it from your computer. I was going to do some work, but that's all right. Not nice, but hope it's all going good. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, nah. I'll shut off for now. I'm gonna go get a bite to eat and I'll come back and I'll do a marathon stream. So much appreciation for everyone coming through. Hope you learned something. Hope you stay fresh. Hope you stay good. High grades all day. You know what it is. We're gonna just be the best you can and just like fight the power of that beat. You know what I mean? We're facing the same issues worldwide. Recognize that fact. You know what I mean?